Welcome to Stanford, Lincoln County, Kentucky. Lincoln County was established in 1780, and Lincoln County was one of the three original counties in the state. A state that old, you can imagine, it has a very deep, rich history. For my public history project, I chose to investigate the Stanford Public School Colored, which is located right behind me. The irony is that while Stanford Public School Colored serviced all the colored children from across the county, Stanford Elementary, Stanford High School is a 5-minute walk away. So looking at this massive stone structure, it prompts several questions. How do we memorialize events and structures, historical structures? We should consider who erected the structure, who designed it. How is the structure related to and used by the community since it was constructed? So let's get into just a brief history of the school. The school dates all the way back to the late 1890s. Now, this building was built in 1940 by the Workmen's Progress Administration, the WPA. The WPA allows for another investigative topic. Who were they? What did they do? They were a lot of the local peoples. They were blacks and whites, and so everyone had a stake in this school and brought it into being. Stanford Public School Colored was originally constructed, really established around 1879 by the Negro community. And the community hired a teacher from Berea College across the state. Berea College was an interracial school, and they sent a lot of teachers into the rural area. The trustees of the school bought the original property across town for a mere $370. Now, as I said, the schools were segregated. Stanford Public School Colored, Stanford Elementary, Stanford High School. Why was the schools segregated? There were three reasons. The Kentucky legislature in 1874 created a separately maintained, segregated, unequal system of colored schools. The U.S. Supreme Court decreed separate but equal in the 1896 Plessy versus Ferguson, which had more to do with transportation than education. And finally, Carl Day of Breathitt County, Kentucky, introduced House Bill number 25 as an act to prohibit white and colored persons from attending the same school. The bill was signed into law in 1904. And the law was clearly aimed at Berea College, which provided many of the colored teachers in rural counties. Berea College was the only integrated school in Kentucky. The Stanford Public School Colored was for grades 1 through 8. Most of the people only had an 8th grade education. Later on, it became a 2-year institution a 2-year high school institution in the 1930s. For students to finish their high school degree, they were bused to nearby Danville, which was about 15 minutes away, to complete their education. This became a high school in 1940 as a 4-year institution. So, this is late September, and In 1940, imagine students just finishing their academic day at about the same time that Stanford Elementary, Stanford High School is completing their academic day. Just a brief history of the schools. After integration of public schools in Kentucky with the Supreme Court tearing down separate but equal, integrating schools, this building, Stanford Public School colored Lincoln High School, sat vacant from 1964 until 1975. At that time, the building was sold to the First Missionary Baptist Church, Stanford, and they hold regular service every Sunday. The property was bought for a mere $2,000. And through these doors, this doorway, from 1937 until 1963, 303 seniors earned their diplomas here. And they were taught by 36 teachers total, and 7 principals were in charge of the school. And of course, history leaves traces. And you can see this old swing set, rusty chains, but still a reminder of what happened here at the Stanford Public School colored. Moreover, the merry-go-round, not to be ever used again, but a historical reminder of what happened here. The side view of the school gives you a really good idea just to the size of the structure. When it was built in 1940, it had 12 rooms. Also has a full basement and a cafeteria in the basement. And you can imagine in these classrooms, children sitting out in the classroom, looking out the window, anticipating recess, and having some fun on the swing and the merry-go-round. Right next to the school is a house and lot that belonged to Dr. William Tardif, who was the second principal of the Stanford Public School colored. And his house was once a magnificent house, one of the best on this street, but as you can see, it is condemned property and has fallen into a serious state of disrepair. The status of the house being condemned is very indicative of African American history. It thrived back in the day, and now it's mostly forgotten. Dr. Tardif bought this property in the early 1900s. He bought the house and lot for $900.